Oh man, have I been sitting here all day for 12 hours? Maybe. No. Probably looks like that though. No, it's been 12 hours since I went live. I almost went live. I almost went live on the wrong place. Yeah, I almost went live on TikTok instead of YouTube. And boy, unless my vision's going, I've got a smudgeroo on my glasses. Let me see if I can fix that. Whoa. Where's my face? So, hey, Christine, nice to see you. Kind of see you without my glasses on. And also, you're welcome. You know what? The ladies for my ladies, as it were. Wouldn't that be kind of funny? Hopefully you can see and hear me. I'm thinking it goes without saying, but it might be beneficial. There we go. So, hey, I like your little pictures of your puppers in the in your little picture right there. Very cool. McDoug's, nice to see you. Very cool. I'm going to hydrate a bit. I will confide, even though it is public and it will be saved for some posterity. I have not been eating healthily nor drinking enough water in the last couple of days because my husband is away and I don't know, kind of slacking off. But anywho, so yes, I'm gonna endeavor to finish this entire thing of water, at least by the time we are done tonight, which is at 9 p.m. rather. So yeah. So hey, nice to see you, Becky Ridgway. I'm just gonna. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Charge my phone. Hey, Christina, long time no see, huh? Too funny. Yeah, we've got the late night. Now, I will share with you guys that I'm just picking up the wrong thing here. There we go. I have not created the live schedule for when I return from my trip because it just seems like so far away. But I guarantee, okay, that when I get back, that's one of the things I'm going to do. Yes, McDoug's, a drinking game. Right. So shots, everybody. And this is kind of fun. I just realized this. Yay. Good. Thank you, Barbara, for the reminder. And Narelle, nice to see you. I think I read your name as I was saying something and my tongue just went bloop. Yes, getting better about more water in my body. I think what it is too is, you know how I have kind of like I'm like a little kid with my sippy cup. I have my giant sippy cup from Port au Call in New Orleans. I should have more than one of those. One of them melted in the dishwasher, and we gave two of them to friends of ours. I guess I'll just have to go back. But yeah, when I didn't have that with me as a visual reminder to drink it, I was kind of slacking off. Oh, okay. Let me just do one thing. Okay. I'm glad I just happened to check on something. It's all good. I'm helping them do some paperwork for my mom. But I can deal with that. Good stuff to know. What can I tell you? I had a pretty tired day today. I rallied, but I also realized how important it was to take care of my physical body. And that anything that I could have done, some things do need to be done. Like I'm leaving for my trip tomorrow, so I do need to pack. Now, I don't like to pack at night because the lighting in our bedroom isn't so good and I wear a lot of black clothes. But the good thing is I'm an early riser. So I look forward to packing in the morning. I'm not too worried about it. I already have my what do you call it? My alarm has been set. I've been stumbling over my words today too. I probably need some water. That will probably help lubricate my the synapses and the neurons and all the stuff going on in my brain when it leads to my mouth so I can think of the words to say. So there's another sip. So taking care of your physical body, always a good thing and sometimes easy to forget to do. But we're here today. I feel like I got some good stuff done, and I'm not going to beat myself up about what I didn't get done. I checked in with myself, and I literally walked down the hallway knowing that I technically could have done more, But I said, I didn't, and I'm going to own it, and I'm going to feel good about it. So I share that example with you. So depending upon what you got done or not got done, didn't get done, that you feel okay about what you did do, and you forgive yourself for what you didn't do, and will endeavor to do slightly better tomorrow. Doesn't have to be my best. It can be better. Better is better if you think about it, right? Better is good, better is better. Best is kind of a superlative. And while you could strive for that, I'm fine with just a good or a fine or a better. I'm happy with that. Kind of lowers the bar. Hey, there we go. This is fun. Cheryl Lopez is tuning in and saying, hey, Beth, while decluttering my car today, I found 2 pairs of prescription glasses that had been MIA for months. Yeah, we found when we were recently digging out our car and cleaning it out, we found a glasses case that had been misplaced from my husband. It had gotten stuck between the seats and it suddenly reappeared. So yay for finding the pairs of prescription glasses. We all know how those go. So notice the treasure hunt aspect of decluttering. It may be something you lost and then you found. So yay, Cheryl, for finding good stuff decluttering. I was reminded when I went to go through my stuff that I had some cash kind of left over from my last trip, that I have a little bit of, I like to keep some small bills around. So when I am traveling, I can easily tip people, primarily, what do you call it? Housekeeping, things like that. And I've forgotten I had that. So as I was going through some of my stuff, I found some cool things too. So yay. Anybody else have a recent kind of decluttering, what do I want to say? A recent decluttering treasure you might have found? Feel free to put it in the comments. One thing I was going to say, oh, this was what I was saying before I interrupted myself, was the schedule for the lives for when I return from my travels, because I will be gone for over a week, which is unusual for me. I'm usually gone for a shorter amount of time. And the fun thing is that the next kind of official kind of meetup opportunity we have, at least with me, because I know that the Pen Pal Club might be getting together. You know, we're reaching out to each other in my absence. I hope that happens for the people who want to help, want it to happen. Is Saturday the 18th, Saturday, October 18th, noontime Eastern. Do the math for where you are, is a declutter party. And one of the things that I can do during the declutter party is I can take a look at my schedule and see what the next few weeks would look like as far as lives and whatnot, to see what comes up between coaching and declutter parties and things like that. So that's what I'm going to be working on. And I'm excited about that. Yay. Katie Clayton has caught me twice today. Score. Now, Barbara says, I didn't get done all that I wanted to get done. That's okay. But I got what was most important done. Today isn't over, and I can still do a bit more, and tomorrow is a new day. Now, notice how Barbara is talking so nicely to herself about this. Okay? Isn't that cool? Isn't that a nice thing? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. If you want, I mean, there's plenty of coaches out there who are all tough love and whatnot. And if you want that, but not me. I work better, as I said, a little bit of a gentle touch. Encouraging yourself tends to let you relax and breathe, and then encourage you to do stuff. I did some dishes. I'm doing some laundry. I cleaned out the sink. I put some stuff that needs to go in the garbage. I put it in the freezer since I won't be around. So I've been doing some stuff too. Hey, McDoug's. McDoug's found a treasure. Cleaning my purse, found a $100 bill. I love that. That is fun too. Very cool. Sometimes we find treasures, and sometimes we find that the stuff we find when we're decluttering is kind of the opposite, and I mean that in a good way. It's something that isn't anything that you even care about at all. And oftentimes the things that we get afraid of, frankly, I think sometimes when we're decluttering, we get afraid of the stuff that we're going to have to spend a lot of time and energy hemming and hawing and making decisions and stuff that you really care about, but you kind of don't know. That tends to be the stuff that gets you anxious about decluttering. What a relief it is when you open up a bag or a box and it's just trash, garbage, tissues, packing material, different things like that. What a relief when you don't have to spend a lot of time and energy figuring out what something is, because you immediately know it's something you don't want, and you don't even have to kind of turn on the heat to get a result. So notice that can be a really fun treasure too. I think it happened on one of our declutter parties. I don't know if Therapy Gal Sue, she mentioned this, where she had been dreading going through some stuff in her closet. Now, here's a funny thing about me. I've never been in anybody's house here. Anybody I have coached, and yet I create pictures in my head. It's how my imagination works. So when I think of this story, I think of the picture that was drawn in my head of like a tote on the floor of a closet at Sue's house, and she was dreading going through it. And then she finally, during one of declutter parties, she opened it up, and on the very top, on the inside was a note that says, "This stuff has all been gone through. Please shred it," or something to that effect. Now, I offer to you the simple act. It's great that she went through it. It's great that she had it labeled. When you label something, make sure that you can see the label without having to move the tote or open it. Okay? So notice that about labeling your stuff. Labels make it easier for you to know from a distance what is in a container without you having to open the container, to move it, to even touch it if you've labeled it. And some people do that thing. I know there was somebody I was working with at one point that bought some sort of app and a printer that gave you QR codes. That was way too fancy for me. I am all about literally like leftover pieces of paper and a big old Sharpie, ideally a Sharpie even thicker than this one maybe, and some packing tape, and you're good to go. Yeah. Yep. And McDoug's, yay. I'm just happy to have my purse tidy. The $100 is a bonus. I said that as a goal, and I'm happy accomplishing it. Yay. I got a tip. Yeah, the universe fluttered it down there and said, here, you deserve that. Hey, Marietta, nice to see you. 12 hours from the last time I saw a number of you at the 8 a.m. Destination Decluttered TikTok Live. Now, for some of you who don't know who I am and are maybe just kind of scrolling on YouTube, as some of us do on other social media platforms, hello. My name is Beth, and I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Destination because life is a highway and I want to drive it all night long. No. Life is not a highway. Life is a journey. Life is a road trip. Life is going from birth to death, and doing good stuff in between those two set points. And if your clutter is kind of jamming you up, that's when I'm showing up for the cluttered people. I'll show up for pretty much try to help anybody, but really it's the cluttered people, because you're my people. Because I know how much having a cluttered house, a cluttered home, a cluttered head really has affected the stuff I got done in my life, the things I thought I needed to do, I wanted to do, I wasn't getting done. We talked earlier today a lot about like things you bought, buying things to encourage you to take action, but sometimes that doesn't work. So buying the supplies to do a craft project, for example, but still not doing the craft project, and then feeling bad about hanging on to the stuff long after the inspiration and motivation to do the craft project has passed, and yet you feel kind of guilty for spending the money. Maybe it's past the window of doing a return if it's something you haven't opened, or maybe it's something you enjoyed doing and you feel kind of weird that you don't enjoy it anymore. All of that is fine. All of that, I think, is part of the human condition. Evolving into whatever version of yourself, Beth version, I don't know, I guess I would be version 59.2 because it would be 59 plus 2 months since I've turned 59. So, what version are you? Notice the versions can change all the time. It could be 59.10.8 because today's 10.8, and then tomorrow would be version 10.9, etc. The version you are today depends on how much sleep you got, what did you eat, how busy was your day. So love all the versions of yourself. Yeah, love all the versions of yourself. Even the ones that back in the day maybe you've done something you're not too psyched about. Why did I buy all this stuff? Because I was trying to make myself feel better. Because I wanted to maybe experiment with a different version of myself, one that was going to be crafty, one that was going to be 20 pounds lighter, one that was going to wear high heels, one that was going to wear makeup all the time. Playing dress up. Who did you think you were going to be? Are you that person? And if you are, yay. And if you're not, yay. Because whatever version of you is totally okay. Don't beat yourself up for who you're not. Love yourself for who you are. And if you still want to do some things and change, yeah, that's what evolution is. So don't stop believing, don't stop changing, but notice maybe sooner rather than the last time when you have an idea, and then run yourself through it and see how you feel at every stage before you even buy the stuff. It may save you. Oh, there we go. No, Narelle says, I'm not a crafter, but I joined a craft group and bought a macrame kit. I never even opened the box, but was happy crafting friendships instead. Yeah, now isn't that neat? You learned something about yourself. Now, I'm not a runner, but when my husband goes out running with his kind of running group, which is 3 other people, I show up as a walker. And I like having that way of seeing my friends a little bit more often than I normally do. What a cool idea. What a cool idea. If friendships are something you want to craft, maybe you pick up a craft and you experiment with it. Or depending upon how rigid the rules are of the craft place, can you be like, I just want to be social. So I know one of the things that I am reticent about, because I've lived long enough that I see kind of the shelf life of a lot of these things. And a lot of the reason I do not do any crafting is unless I can be assured that I really want the end result. We don't have park run in the USA. I would think, I could be wrong because again, I'm not a crafter, but we do have Michael's craft stores. We used to have AC Moore, and I know some of them do classes. Joanne's Fabrics used to too, but many things around here, and maybe where you are, Narelle, in Australia, are getting bought up by private equity and run into the ground. And now everything's turning into a what is it? Halloween, the Halloween spirit store. Around this time of year, many of the empty storefronts will be temporarily turned into like costume places. Now, I love this. Thank you, Marietta. I will read this to folks who are maybe not watching the comments. Marietta says, I think the best advice you gave so far, according to Marietta, was being willing to let go of old versions of yourself and become this version. I don't have to decorate to the same level I did when I had 3 young kids. Yes, I don't have to decorate to the same level that I did even last year. So notice that it is okay to evolve out of, kind of you molt that shell like a lobster, or maybe you get out of that chrysalis, you have a chrysalis and then maybe you shed your feathers and you have new ones growing in and they're different from the ones you had. So being flexible with yourself, not being rigid. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Park run. Interesting. I will be looking that up. Thank you. I will write that down. I will write that down with my big thing because my park. Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the gumball, Popeye. But the people who I have gotten to meet through the decluttering all seem to have similar things in common. And being at a point in your life, it's not necessarily a specific age, but getting to a point in your life where you start to feel the the ill effects of the over accumulation that you were in the habit of doing, and not liking that feeling and wanting to do something about it, but not quite knowing what to do that would be kind of long lasting and sustainable. And so I say this because, many of us, get to that point, and noticing how it does affect you is a wonderful thing. And then saying, even if I don't know what to do here, there are people there who can help me. So that's a wonderful thing too, is to realize you don't have to do everything by yourself, and noticing the things that are easier when you do get help or assistance. For example, and I think I told this story to somebody today, I think it was Carla, because we were coaching today, about I really had to coach myself today. So I'll share this story with you from me, in that I was tired, but I had ordered some crocus bulbs, and we plant them in the fall, so that they are something that blooms early and colorfully in the late spring, and well, the late winter and early spring. Now, in years past, my husband has been around, and we have kind of tag teamed it, that he will go down and he'll get the big um, shovel and make a hole, and then I'll throw them in, and then we'll knock up to, you know what I mean? And we'll get it done, the two of us. Well, he's not around now, and I had the thought that it would be a good idea for me to plant these before I left for my trip, because around this time is usually where we do it. Oh, that's too funny. I love it. Kara. It's like, Wish. Did somebody say Wish? And you're like, the zombie. I ordered mine today. Used the credit card. The credit, because they sent me the wrong ones that came up red striped in the same string. Oh, yeah, that must have been odd. I got some really deep purple ones and some really bright yellow ones. I like those colors. But one of the things I noticed was it was a lot more work when I was doing it myself. So what I did was, knowing that my husband will not come back before the time that I have to plant these, because they recommend planting them before the ground freezes. Well, I don't know about you guys, but literally, like yesterday here in Pennsylvania, it was low 80s, high 70s. Today, it kind of cooled off a little bit. But I realized I don't have to plant all the bulbs at once, especially if it's something that I'm struggling with. So what did I do? I had 8 bags of them. Okay, so you plant yours in November. That's great to know, because it's colder where you are. So that gives me a longer amount of time. And that longer amount of time also allows me to chunk it down, which is exactly what we did. And yes, yes, Narelle, the ground does freeze. It can be very cold. This is an interesting thing, Kara. I just know this because one of the things I remember, probably the only thing I remember from my 9th grade science class, when we were learning, I don't know why I remember this. Maybe it was a different class, but I can't even speak tonight. I apologize. Latitude and longitude, and knowing that it was 42 degrees, like north latitude was Massachusetts. And so you look at the globe and you see where that is, and you see the other countries around you. So yes, at the 42 degrees above the equator, at certain points, the ground does freeze. Luckily, it won't freeze by the time I get back from my trip. So I decided that I was going to plant some of those bulbs today and be happy with what I did do, not beat myself up for not doing it all. And when I come back, I'll do another bag. And then another day, I'll do another bag. And another day, I'll do another bag. And who knows, maybe even that kind of timing of it, that more organic way of doing it might change the way these things kind of settle in. And who knows, they may bloom at different times in the spring. Oh, frost warning in Butler, PA tomorrow. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe I'll be sending some crocuses up to Massachusetts for Kara, but we'll see. Yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? I will feel good about the ones that I did, even if when I come back from my trip, I'm unable to plant the other ones. Yeah. Ooh. Oh my gosh, Kara, I love that idea. Yep. She uses a cordless drill and an auger attachment. And I am all about the working smarter, not harder. I say that often in my coaching, and I definitely bring back my Boston accent to say that. Yes. Oh, hun, everybody, hold up. Judy Dukes needs our help. Judy Dukes, let's send good vibes to Judy Dukes. She's in the ER with severe stomach pain since this afternoon. Oh, honey bunch, no, no. I hope you feel good, and how good of you to bring yourself to the ER. Maybe it will be one of those things where you just have gas and you just need to fart. Okay? So, yeah, let's all send some good vibes to Judy Dukes. She's a dear member of our crew, and we take care of ourselves. Good vibes. Hugs from afar. Okay? I hope you do this, because I will not be after tonight. I'm kind of packing up my stuff and I'm getting ready for my trip. Please, Judy Dukes, let somebody in the Pen Pal Club know that you're doing okay, so they can spread the word, so we know you're all right. All right? So I hope it's nothing, I hope you feel better soon. And I'm so glad you did something to take care of yourself. I'd be more concerned if you said, I'm lying prone on the bathroom floor and I have, tummy pains. And hopefully it's just nothing. I get rumbly tumbly sometimes too, and I think it feels awful. So I'm hoping, I choose to believe. So Judy Dukes, I choose to believe that it's nothing bad. And even if it's something that's concerning, you're in the exact right place for you to get the help you need for something you can't work on your own. Okay? And yeah, you're in the right place. All right? So we are here for you. You're part of the Pen Pal Club. So reach out to somebody and let them know. Maybe somebody will send a little email to Judy tomorrow or the next day, just checking in, making sure one of our own is doing okay. All right? So thanks for letting us know too. Because if you don't let people know that you're struggling, it's hard for them to help you. There we go. Oh, Kara, you're so good. Kara's going to check in with you, Judy. So isn't this a good group of people that we have here? Despite all that's going on in the country and the world, please never forget that there are a lot of good people. Yeah, and Kara's got her, what do you call that thing? Your hernia? Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Judy Dukes. I know it can take courage to go to the doctor or the emergency room, or because then that's kind of admitting to yourself that it could be something serious. But that step towards that is the first step in feeling better and getting the help that whatever's going on will need. If you try to do it on your own and it doesn't work, there is a lot of strength and power and courage in doing what you can to take care of yourself, and asking for help is very brave. So you are a brave, courageous soul, Judy Dukes, and we're sending you love over the airwaves. Okay. Yeah. Kara says, I've been in and out of the ER, doc, last 2 weeks, abdominal hernia, waiting for a surgeon consult. Hopefully you just have gas. Yes. I actually saw some TikTok about that. So let's hope it's just farts. Okay. Let's just hope it's farts. What would you like to take any requests, Judy? What can we talk about to distract you from your gas pains or your tummy pains? You name a topic, and we're happy to talk about it, even if it has nothing to do with clutter. We'll take requests. Okay. There we go. Yeah, Kara is listing some jewelry. That's really cool, because Kara has loved to collect the vintage jewelry, but now she's at a point, she has evolved into a person who can appreciate it, but also feels okay letting it go. So what a wonderful way to be. I've been thinking about that myself, because we've been talking about in the TikTok live today, not that I want this to be a repeat, but just that idea of, if I moved from my house, what would I bring and what would I not bring? And I would probably bring more stuff that I currently have that I still like. Um, but I would also be easily able to let go of things if they didn't fit in, if they did not give my new house that vibe that I wanted. I'm happy with the way things are here, but I would do things differently if I moved. I do not collect anything. Now, this is great because Kara is going to transform. It's almost like, what is that, alchemy, where people try to change different metals and whatnot into gold. You are transforming that jewelry into ka-ching, cash, that then you transform the cash into ka-ching, house repairs. So sometimes having that destination of I want to create money to do something with can be a motivator to help you sell things if you're a seller, and not a basement. You're a seller. Get it? Waka waka. So here's a funny thing too. I think of, and you guys know this about me, that when I think of like my dream house, I think of kind of a mid-century Palm Springsy type of thing. Funny thing is, I have a trip to Palm Springs planned that I planned last April, I think it was, when I was out house sitting. And I have planned my next trip, and I already have the tickets and everything's already booked for the weekend where the Palm Springs Vintage Market happens. Now, isn't this funny when you think about it? Me, a decluttering person, me who says I don't collect anything anymore, and yet I still love the thrill of the hunt and seeing cool things. And possibly, I mean, it's different from being in a it's different from being in a museum, because in a museum, if you really wanted that piece, no way. But having the potential to say, if I really like something, I'm going to allow myself to buy it. So you can still be a person who enjoys vintage, jewelry and whatnot. But do I need to then accumulate it? Do I need to own it to enjoy it? Or can I totally savor it where I am? And this may not be good for the people who are selling the stuff. Do I need to buy it to enjoy it? And the answer can be no. Okay. Yeah. There we go. And Kara, yes. Now, Kara is going into a Yankee make-do winter. God, do I know those. Saving money, paying debt down, and repairing what we can with money we make from selling our extra stuff. Very thrifty, very New Englandy of you. So good for you to do that. Now, you were saying, are you going to modernism in Palm Springs? I am not, but I have been, and I highly encourage you to go if you want, because that is a wonderful, I actually, this is kind of crazy. I went to Palm Springs twice last year, and one of the things I did, crap, was it 3 times? Who knows? One of the things I did was I volunteered at Modernism. And that way I just worked at like the gift shop, but I got a t-shirt, but also you got kind of dibs on being able to go to some of the things. And so one of the neat things about traveling there is you get to go to some of the inside, you get to tour some of the insides of houses, not just drive past them. And it was my dream. It is in February. Yeah, we're going actually, because I will say, when you do want to go there, that's when things get booked up right away. And yet we're going the last weekend of February or the first weekend of March, whenever that vintage thing is going to be. Yeah. And Leslie, yeah, we love our Judy Dukes. Yep. Lady Bandit has had a long week at work, listening to my favorite peeps and coloring a page of my coloring book. See, I love that idea of the coloring book, because I was talking to a client today about the therapeutic, really, way in which slowing down and writing down stuff can have a calming effect on your nervous system, because your hand that holds the pen cannot move as quickly as the lightning speed of your brain. So in order to capture the inspirations and insights and ideas that you have and write it down, it will cause your brain to slow down a little bit, and not just I'll be this and this and this. Whoa, 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 slow down, slow down. I want to write this down. I'm listening. I'm going to write it down. but also writing it legibly so you know what you wrote, and writing it in a somewhat complete sentence, maybe with a verb and some added things, so that you know what you were writing down. It slows down your body, and it slows down the pace at which the words are coming through from your head, kind of traveling down to your hand and onto the page. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. Palm Springs, it's likely not part of our thrifty Yankee winter this year, but that's okay. It's on the big list. And here's the deal, people, you just never know. You just never know. Oh, Christina, yes, yes. And it really is making a plan, even dumping down kind of the thoughts that you have in your head. Saying to yourself, I think things that are good ideas. I have good ideas. Maybe not all of them are pearls. Maybe some of them are plastic, but some of them are good, but they disappear into the ether. Even this words that are spoken, unless they're written down, can easily be misremembered or forgotten entirely. And I know all of you have good ideas. And I think about that when you're writing the words, but also Lady Bandit in coloring a page of my coloring book. You're choosing a color. You are being mindful. You're slowing down the way you are you're controlling the way you are coloring. So maybe you're staying within the lines. A little kid with a crayon who's going really fast, and you see that can be exuberant and fun, but also calming down and slowing down and saying, what color do I want to use? Oh, I'll try that one. Oh, I will color, and I'll make sure that it looks nice and even, and I'll make sure that I go right in the lines. That too can have a calming effect on your nervous system. And that can be really helpful after a long week at work. And I love the fact that you just said that it made your headache go away. Yeah. Okay. So, yay for the things that make you feel better. Yay for the things that make you feel good. Yay for feeling better, taking care of yourself, doing something to calm down your nervous system. Look at what Judy Dukes is doing. She's doing number one on the list that we always talk about, taking care of her physical body. Now, oftentimes it's not the extreme, but she wasn't going to just ignore it, we hope things go away on their own. Everybody here does. But when it doesn't, that it can be something that you are not afraid to take the next step to get the help you need to feel better. So whatever that is, whatever it is that would help you, do it. Yes. And the neat thing is about calming down and slowing down, as Christina says, is when you write down stuff, you have the ingredients for a plan. You have the ingredients for a checklist. Excuse me. And a checklist is kind of like you've already told yourself what needs to be done. Then you just show up and do it. And if you've chunked it down small enough that it should be pretty easy to start, if you've chunked it down nice and small. One thing, find a home for we were talking about this today because Christina has bags that she needs to find a home for. I have bags, a stack of kind of those nice craft paper ones with the handles, from various sources. I need to find a home for those. And the home for them will probably be down the basement now that, knock on wood, the basement guy, I believe, is gone permanently. And upon my return from my trip, I will begin to move things down the basement, but mindfully move them down there, deciding, do I want this to go down there? If so, where do I want it to go? And maybe it won't go down in the exact same place right away, but it will be closer to its forever home or its next permanent home by doing that. One of the things I realized too, and I'm glad you mentioned that too, Kara, about selling stuff, is some of my stuff is stacked on a cart that I thrifted years ago that I used at some parties that I'm pretty sure somebody in the mid-century modern world would love. And I offered it to a friend of mine who has a shop to see if he wanted to buy it to sell it. Last year, he didn't want it, but here's the fun thing. Again, an idea that I got from hanging around with my friends. which would be space cart. And maybe somebody wants the cart before Thanksgiving. So that may help. Also, Palm Springs print, because I have a Palm Springs print that I'm thinking of getting a larger version of. So notice the things that even just having more than one brain, two heads are better than one. Having people to bounce ideas off of, or even not overtly, but something somebody says can trigger an idea. Yeah. So something can trigger an idea. That's one of the reasons we often have visual reminders around our homes to remind us to do something, to trigger an action. Kara just said, Judy, I just sent you a quick email so I wouldn't forget. Doing that thing when you think of it. And all of those things are good things. So we've got about 19 minutes to go. I'm just going to check this one quick thing. And there we go. It was just a message from somebody I'm traveling with tomorrow. I just want to make sure there's nothing going on. Okay, there we go. Awesome. All good stuff. All good stuff. Notice the fear of something going wrong with a flight, the fear of doing something to make sure it is okay. And yeah, good stuff like that. So what would you like to spend this next 15 minutes or so, 19 minutes or so doing? Is there a topic I can bring up that we can riff on in the comments, or that you want to hear me speak about? I know Carla was talking to me during our coaching. She had some ideas for some Pen Pal Club meetups and Zooms and things that I wrote down some of those. One of them, here's a fun one. While you're thinking of anything I want, because I'm here for you. I thought this was really fun. So you tell me, because this came up when Carla said something and it just got my creative juices flowing, and they flow fairly easily, which was the idea, because we did this once. And I believe, Leslie, you were part of this, where we had a bit of a dress up, a show and tell we had a show and tell during one of the declutter parties, where we were decluttering, let's say, sentimental clothing, sentimental objects. And during each one of the segments, I even went and tried on some dresses that I wasn't sure if I was going to fit in, that I had literally been afraid to try on for a number of years because I had fit in them, then I gained weight. And what I will offer to you is, I thought this might be fun, that we would, first of all, anybody who wants to learn how to put on a Zoom, I'm going to do it like a tutorial for anybody who wants to tune in for that, because it's so easy to do and you don't have to be afraid of the technology. But the other thing too is, I thought of this. I have it tentatively scheduled for Thursday, October 30th. It's just in the planning stages. And I thought that right before Halloween, it might be fun to do a Pen Pal Club Zoom meetup on Zoom. And feel free to, either you can wear the piece of clothing that you've been hanging on to for a while and don't know whether you should declutter or not, or you could just bring it and show it almost like a costume, because you could tell the story of who you were, the character you were when, this is when I was mother of the bride. This is when I went through my goth period. This is when I was all corporate. And sharing the stories and the clothing, everybody would pick, one item, because we don't want it to be monopolized or anything. And then that might help you and encourage other people to realize that it might be easier to release something once you've shared the story with it, So just something. Yeah, helped me release my mom's hat. Yeah, and it gave me the courage to try on one of my Marimekko dresses that I hadn't worn in years, and I ended up wearing it to see Herb Alpert in the Tijuana Brass just this past summer. And I never would have thought of that unless I had tried it on and said, oh, I need to wear this to a special occasion. Funny thing is, my husband and I think we took a selfie. I don't know if we took a selfie. I'll have to look. Regardless. Yay. And that was fun. And that's the thing. It's like, let's make these things fun. Decluttering doesn't have to be torturous. It can be fun. It can be flexible. It can be lighthearted. It can be heartfelt. It may give you some pangs of, regret or sadness, but that's okay. You've had sadness and regret before and you've gotten through it. So you will survive the regrets or the reflection on decisions made that you didn't, oh, I should have probably not, done whatever, spent that money on those shoes that ended up being so uncomfortable, you know? And yeah, isn't this cool too? I never thought of that. Leslie's saying, because Leslie was part of it. She had a hat, a sun hat that her mom wore, and she also had a picture of her mom with the hat. And she realized because she had the picture, she could let go of the hat. Now the funny thing was, Carla was like, "Man, I think that hat's cool. And if we weren't decluttering, I'd tell you to send it to me." And then because of that connection, it gave Leslie an even more, like, another nice memory of that hat. And she doesn't need to have the hat to have the story and the memory and the good feelings about that. Notice how I technically could have, I plan on wearing that dress again, but I told the story without looking at the dress itself at all. I don't need the visual reminder because I have the story in my head. I can picture it in my head. So notice that sometimes we save things as a visual prompt, as a trigger to do something, to think something, to remember something, to take action. And when you notice that that's maybe one of the things that you do, you can use that to your advantage. Oh, and this is so good too. Christina is saying, I love how exploring things from the past help you realize how far you have come and excited for who you are becoming. Yeah. And transforming your environment to match. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Now, I will say this. So, Kara, my next live is not next week. It's so funny. I'm flying up to Logan tomorrow. And then from Logan, I'm actually going to the Azores with friends of mine for a week. And then I spend one night overnight. I have lunch with my mother and my sister, and I fly home. So the next official kind of live thing is going to be a decluttering party on the 18th. And a TikTok live or a YouTube live, I have not planned those, but I'm going to be scheduling those and posting those on that during that declutter party, because that's something I can work on. Okay. And Kara says it's next week. Nope, but maybe we can all make goals for what we'll do by then. My goal, she says, get my table cleared off in the garage by listing lots of jewelry and the mid-century modern floor lamps. Yeah, so maybe that could be a thing too, where you do that. And so probably, honestly, Kara, if I look at the schedule, I will tell you that the next the next TikTok live or YouTube live I have will be at some point on Monday, October 20th, because it's going to be a Monday through Friday thing, because I know that weekend that I come home is going to be busy. Yes. And there you go. Yep. It gives us even more time. So notice that you have from today, the 8th, until the 20th. That's over a week to get something done. And then you can make a goal yourself. Yeah. And Kara says, and notice what's happening here. A couple of things are happening. It's giving yourself a due date. I'm starting to call it a due date as opposed to a deadline, because I like that you're going to do something by that date. And also it reminds me of like a library book. So you're saying, I'm going to get that done by this date. And when you give yourself the time, it allows you the flexibility to chunk it down. Yeah. And then, of course, consider it done. Long live Jambi, right? Providing I don't have an emergency surgery. And if so, I'll need to pivot a little. Yes. A plan is just a plan. And a plan, here's a fun thing. A plan is technically almost written in pencil, though if you're a Christina Glendale and you have a favorite brand of erasable pens, feel free to put it in the comments, because she was raving about these things. A plan is always flexible. You want it to work, green light, but if something happens, you can be flexible with it. It's kind of like having a travel plan. Certain things are you're hoping are going to go well, but things will happen. And the more flexible you can be, the less bent out of shape you're going to be. But yes, and if you need emergency surgery, it always goes back to step one, which is taking care of your physical self. Because without your physical self, you don't have nothing. The spirit, the life in you, the soul, the body, the backseat driver, the co-pilot, none of that can do anything if what it's encased in is not feeling good, right? So maybe that's a thing that during my absence, the Pen Pal Club people can reach out and say, hey, I've got this goal for the 20th. Beth says her next thing is going to be on the 20th. Do you want to plant, to go in Grable plant pens? Okay, Grable pens. Wonderful. You see, here's a funny thing. I don't like an erasable pen because I am left-handed. And the way I write, my hand often would smudge the ink. So I have to find something that's not smudgeable. But I love that you have a pen that works for you. I have a pen that works for me. Here, I'll share this with you. What is it? Nope, that's a Sharpie. I put it in the other room. I have a bunch of them. Where is it? Is that it? Nope, that's so funny. What's that doing there? Regardless. Here, hold on. Oh, there we go. Uniball Jetstreams. I was running low. I treat myself. This is me treating myself to a pen that I love. This is not sponsored, but I say this to say, notice if you have a giant thing of random pens that you've picked up at the airport, at the bank, at some sort of marketing event, and which ones do you actually use? Which ones do you enjoy using? See, that's the thing too. The ones that write smoothly, that are the ink color you like, that are the non-smudge you may care for, even the width of the ball point. I know that I think it's a 0.7 or a 0.10. I don't like it when they are too sharp and hard. This is a 1 millimeter, like little roller ball. The more you know about what you like, the easier it is to look for it because you have keywords on the internet. You also can send things out to the universe, St. Anthony, look around. Something is lost that must be found. Or Kara is saying, universe, I know we're going to be spending a lot of money repairing the house this year, but if there's any opportunities for me to go to Palm Springs, please send them my way. If there's a free or inexpensive way for me to go there, let me do that. So put it out there, put it on your what do I want to call it? Like your woo-woo shopping list, and who knows what could happen? As I always like to say, can't hurt, might help. All right. There you go. And we do pay Powerball. That's what I say too. You can't win if you don't play. And an investment in $3 maybe can give you the opportunity. Doesn't it open you up? And this is where some of the life coaching and manifestation overlap. But notice how more relaxed you feel when you imagine that you have not too little, but even just the right amount, and maybe a little bit more to just have some fun with. Yeah. And how fun it can be, and how much more relaxed and safe your body feels. Like, oh man, wouldn't that be great? I could actually afford to turn on the heat before Halloween. Oh, it will be so wonderful to just pay somebody to fix the roof and not have to worry about, where the money's going to come from. Yeah. Hey, Christine likes violet metallic gel pens. I love it. And I remember an overpass on 95 New York City that says it could happen. Yeah, I say that when I go to look for a parking space. I don't go to the mall much, but when I used to go to the mall, I'm picturing the Burlington Mall in Massachusetts in my head. Somebody's got to get the good parking space. Why can't it be me? And I actually did get a really good parking space at the airport on Saturday. It was wonderful. I say that to my husband. He's like, oh, well, it says it's full. Actually, it's funny. I noticed they don't have those signs regardless. But I always go to see if I can get a what do you call it? parking space close to the entrance from the parking garage at the airport. Somebody's got to get it. Why couldn't it be me? And lo and behold, I was doing that and I was looking and a woman was coming out. She was wearing a TSA uniform and she says, "Hey, I'm about to leave this space right here." It was like 5 cars from the entrance. Would you like that? And I said, "That would be awesome. Thank you so much." So be open to unexpected delights. Put yourself in the opportunity. If I didn't believe that I could get a good parking space at the airport close to the entrance, I would have parked, the far corner of the top thing. Oh, I'll never get a parking space there, you know? So, yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go. Narelle says, "I'm hoping for a $50 million Powerball tonight. I've promised my son a white Christmas if I win." Narelle, you let us know. We will cheer you on. Everybody who's playing the lottery, here's some sparkly good wishes. Okay? Marietta, I will have an awesome trip. Yes, Azor sounds amazing. We'll see. It actually looks like it's going to rain a bunch when I'm there. I'm cool with that, though. I'm bringing a book. I'm bringing layers. I won't be at home. I'll be with my friends. I have decided I will make an adventure. I will have a good time wherever I am because the only person who can make it stink is me. Well, other people too, but I will do everything I can to make sure I have a good time. So yes, and thank you, Marietta, for reminding me that we only have about 4 minutes left here. Okay. Yes. Yes. And I love it. Narelle, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs. Yes, I think about that often. You know what would be signs? Is that my front lawn would be a carpet of bright yellow and purple crocuses that I did not plant, that I paid somebody to plant them for me, and they planted a ton of them. That's what I would have. So that would be a sign that there would be an extra amount of those. So yes, but there will be signs. And it's fun to think about that stuff because if you take the need for money out of the equation and you don't use that as a barrier, it might help bubble up some of the things that, are kind of important to you. I love it. Kara says, "My sign would be miniature Scottish Highland cows in the back of my CRV." Mine would definitely be buying a place in Palm Springs for sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. So yeah. So you never know. You never know what your things are. Dare to dream big. Dare to dream big, okay? Go to bed tonight dreaming the dreams of having won the lottery and all the fun things you do, all the people you would help. Okay? Yeah. And all the good things you would do with your money, not like some of these billionaires we have here in the world. What a good, generous, wonderful person you could continue to be because you are one already, but just at a slightly larger scale. How cool would that be? Now, this is fun because I am going to go hit the hay because I'm going to get up early and pack and do all that kind of stuff. And I have a few things that have come up since I've been on this call that I want to wrap up. And hey, there we go. Narelle, we did not know that we were surrounded by actual winners here. And Narelle says, "I went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Australia and won $64,000. How cool." Yes. I'd open a senior pug rescue and buy a house in Palm Springs. Kara, perhaps we would be neighbors. Wouldn't that be fun? All right, you guys. So it's just about hitting 9:00. And I just wanted to remind ourselves before we sign off that I will not be live, but there are plenty of videos that you can watch in my absence. You also have people that you can reach out to in the Pen Pal Club. And if you're not part of the Pen Pal Club, I can try to hook you up with that before I leave. But feel free to use Monday the 20th as a due date to get something fun like decluttering done. But also, let's say good vibes to everybody, but to our own Judy Dukes, okay? So all sorts of good stuff. Oh, fun. Good stuff. So Christina Glendale, I will add you to the Pen Pal Club, okay? I will, and I'll send out I'm writing it down. Send updated list and add Christina. And see, this is funny because this is a pen I do not enjoy writing with. It's like I'm pushing. It's like I'm pushing a rope. This is the kind that goes out into the kitchen that we use, and hopefully my husband uses them up too. They'll do in a pinch. I also want a trip to Disney World, January of 2020. Well, that's cool because that was right before the COVID lockdown. So, Narelle, cool stuff. Cool stuff. All righty, folks. I'm going to sign off. Always a pleasure to hang out with y'all, as Carla would say. And I look forward to hanging out upon my return. In the meantime, take care of yourself and take care of others. Okay? Bye.